That was a big mistake. Are you here?
No, please wait.
Okay. Look for the page.
Los.
102.
Ah, okay.
Ready?
Wait. Yes, teacher.
Nico, you ready?
Ready.
Excuse me, I lost my internet connection for a moment. What's the activity?
We are going to start. I'm just asking if you are on page 102, exercise 7. We are about to start, don't worry.
Okay, yeah.
So let's listen. Let's listen to people talk about recent predicaments. Do you remember what a predicament is? Do you remember what a predicament means?
Dilemma?
Dilemma, exactly. Very good. Then check the best suggestions for each one. So let's listen and please check the best suggestion according to you.
Page 102. Exercise 7. Perspectives. That was a big mistake. Part A. Listen to people talk about recent predicaments. Then check the best suggestion for each one.
I borrowed my sister's brand new car and I scratched it while I was parking. I didn't want her to be upset with me, so I told her the scratch was there already. What should I have done?
You should have told her about it. You should have taken it to a repair shop.
You should have offered to pay for the damage.
I forgot my best friend's birthday. I felt terrible, so I texted him to apologize, but he's still upset. What would you have done?
I would have called him right away.
I would have sent him a nice birthday present.
I would have invited him out for a meal.
Okay, Brenda, can you read again the first situation, please?
Yes. I borrowed. ¿Sí es en ese?
Yes.
Sí, ¿verdad? I borrowed my sister's brand new car, and I scratched it while I was parking. I didn't scratch. Okay, scratch. While I was parking. I didn't want her to be upset with me, so I told her the scratch was there already. What should I have done? ¿Me sigo?
Okay, so just tell me what's the suggestion
Las opciones.
you choose.
You should have taken it to a repair shop.
Okay, yes, that's optional. That's your point of view. It's okay. Nico, can you read the second predicament, please?
Yeah, sure. I forgot my best friend's birthday. I felt terrible. So I texted him to apologize, but he's still upset. What would you have done? I will have invited him out for a meal.
Okay, that's according to you. Good, guys. Any question here about vocabulary? No, it's okay.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
It's okay to check.
Well, let's go to next page. In that case, let's analyze the grammar. The questions like, what should I have done? What should I have done? These kind of questions are called past models. Past models. So please listen to the grammar chart and then we are going to analyze it.
Page 103. Exercise 8. Grammar focus. Past modals. Use would have or should have plus past participle to give opinions or suggestions about actions in the past.
What should I have done?
You should have told her about it. You shouldn't have lied to your sister.
What would you have done?
I would have called him. I wouldn't have texted him.
Okay, guys. So in order to explain past models, can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Okay, past models. Here we have two questions. Did he clean the couch? Did he call his friend? Would have, and should have. That's like the contraction, the pronunciation. Would have and should have. Would have and should have actions were imaginary or hypothetical. So they didn't really happen. We use past models to talk about imaginary or hypothetical situations, okay? For things that didn't really happen yet, at least yet. We use would have, we use I would have to give an opinion about an action in the past. When you ask people, what should I have done? I would have taken it to the repair shop. I'm giving an opinion. I would have. We use should have to make a suggestion about a past event. In both cases, our opinion or suggestion is too late. For example, the same case with the birthday. You should have taken him to a restaurant. That's an advice. But when we use past models, it's too late. Okay, when we use should have or would have, there's nothing to do. It's just an opinion or a suggestion, but the people cannot change because that already happened. Yes, you understand?
Yes.
Maybe.
That's why we call it past models. It's in the past. We cannot change it anymore. It's in the past. Let's see the grammar structure. For questions, we use WH plus would plus subject plus have plus past participle. WH, would, subject, have, or has. If we are talking about he, she, it, we use has plus past participle. For example, what would you have done? What's the translation to Spanish? What would you have done? Again, Nico, we couldn't hear you.
¿Qué es lo que hubieras hecho?
Yes. Ahora, or, ¿qué habrías hecho? Habrías Recuerden que would hace que el verbo termine en ría en español, en pospretérito. Entonces, haber con would, habría, habría. Así me queda terminación, ría. Así que la traducción literal sería, ¿qué habrías tú hecho? ¿Qué habrías hecho? Yes?
Okay.
Then the answer, the structure for the answer is subject plus would plus have plus past participle plus the complement. Subject, would have, past participle plus the rest. For example, I would have told him. In negative, I wouldn't have called him. What's the translation to Spanish of I would have told him?
Yo le habría hablado.
Told him. Dicho.
¿Le habría dicho?
Yes, yo le habría dicho. Exactly. I would have told him. And I wouldn't have called him.
Yo no le habría
No le
hablado.
habría llamado.
Exactly. No le habría llamado. Good guys. Any question?
No.
Do we continue?
Yes, teacher. Yes.
Okay, now it should have. Should have. It's the same. It's exactly the same. WH should instead of would. Subject plus have plus past participle. It's exactly the same structure. We are just going to change should for would for should. What should I have done? What's the translation? What should I have done? How do you translate this phrase? What should I have done?
Sería algo así como, ¿qué es lo que debí de haber hecho?
Exactly. ¿Qué debería yo haber hecho? Ya. ¿Qué debería haber hecho? O qué debía haber hecho. It's okay. The answer, subject plus should have plus past participle plus the complement. You should have told them. You should have told them. What's the translation? You should have told them.
Les debiste de haber dicho.
Exactly. Tú deberías haberles dicho. And you shouldn't, negative. You shouldn't have hidden it.
Tú no debiste de esconderlo.
Exactly. No debiste haberlo escondido. Exactly. Very good. Do you understand how to use would have and should have?
En el anterior,
Yes.
también se podía utilizar el should como respuesta.
In which situation? In would have?
Ajá, sí, exacto.
Yes, in both. For predicaments, in general, for dilemmas, you can use would have and should have. I think the only difference is that when we use would have, we are giving an opinion. So we use I would have. And when we use should have, this is an advice or a suggestion. So the suggestion is for the other person. So you say you should have, you should have. We never say I should have. We never say that because it's a suggestion. And we never say you would have because it's an opinion. So don't use it like that. Would have, it's always with I, an opinion. And should have, it's always with you because it's a suggestion. Yes, you understand that?
Yes.
Any other question?
¿Cómo dice que suena ¿cómo se?
Like the contraction? Should have.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good question. We never say, I would have told him. We never say that, I would have. No, we say, remember that the contraction of have is like I've, you've, she's, okay, you've. So the have sounds like just an F. It's just an F. I would have, suena como have. I would have, I would have told him. And it's the same with should have. Should have. Should have. It's weird to say, you should have told him. In the oral, people never say it like that. They always say have. You should have. Should have. Should have. Got it?
Like an A and a F?
Yes. Like OF, like off. Should have. Should have.
Okay, okay.
Any other question?
No, it's okay. Thanks.
And you can write it like that, okay? You can write it with contraction. Instead of have, you can write should apostrophe FE or would apostrophe VE. You can do it like, you can write it like that. Everything's okay? Brenda, Eddie?
Why don't ¿por qué no podemos escribirlo así en contraction? ¿Tiene que ser completo, dice?
No, que también lo pueden escribir con contracción y es correcto. En vez de poner
ya.
el have
Ok.
completo,
Ok.
apóstrofe VE. ¿Ya? Okay, can we go to the exercise?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so let's go. Let's see if everything is understood. Exercises. A, complete this conversation and then practice with a partner. Okay, so please complete this conversation using past models. You have the verbs in parentheses. Remember that we use past participles here. Okay, so complete with past participles. Acuérdense que contestamos con participios. ¿Ya? Okay, let's go. 2 minutes.
Yes, teacher. I was in a meeting at work when my girlfriend texted me saying she needed to see me right away. What should I have done? You should have sent. You should send her a message and told her you call back later.
You'd call back later.
should call back later. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Eddie. Number 2, Nico.
Yep. The cashier gave me too much change. What should I have done? You should have said something. You should have taken the money.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't have taken.
You shouldn't have tipped them.
Okay, thank you. Number 3, Brenda.
Yes. I ignored an email from someone I don't like. What would you, what, okay, would have, see? What would
What
have
would have?
done?
What would you
What
have?
would have, están trabalenguas.
What would you have
What
done?
would, okay, what would you have done? I would have replied
Replied.
reply to the person. It just takes a minute.
Thank you. You don't worry. Number 4, Emily.
We left all our trash at the campsite. What would you have done? And B, I would have taken it with me and thrown it away later.
And thrown. Yeah. Thrown. Oh, sorry. Okay, that's it. And thrown it away later. Good. Good work. Any question here? Did you understand the situations?
Yes.
Okay, so let's continue.
Teacher, what is the campsite?
Campsite? A site to camping. The place where you can camp. Yes, got it?
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
So in this case, we left all our trash at the campsite. So it means that at the end of camping, you threw out your garbage, your trash there, the place where you were camping. Yeah?
Yeah, I leave it there.
Okay. Barbie, read the situations below. What would have been the best thing to do? Choose suggestions, then compare with the partner. Okay, so 1 minute to do this exercise. Tell me when you finish. Oscar, number 1.
¿Me habla a mí?
Yes.
Okay. The teacher brought my favorite book and spilled coffee all over it. I would have spoken to the teacher about it.
Okay, so that's letter B. Or also D. Okay, B or D are the options here. Then what do you have? Situation number 2, Eddie.
I saw a classmate cheating. I saw a classmate cheating on an exam, so I wrote her an email about it. And I think the letter E, you should have warned her not to do it again.
Yeah, it's okay. Letter
Warn
E.
her.
Or also letter D would be correct. E or D. Number 3, Brenda.
A friend of mine always has messy hair, so I gave him a comb for his birthday. I put D or H.
D or H?
No. It's possible. Two options.
No, but in this
Nope.
case, no. No, the only answer would be letter A. You should have spoken to him about it. Or, well, maybe, yeah, you can use letter D, porque aquí no eres tú el que recibió el agravio, sino la otra persona. Entonces no puedes utilizar, yo no habría dicho nada. No se puede. Okay, maybe H, you should have exchanged it for something else. Suponiendo que era un regalo, yeah, maybe you could have exchanged it. Because it's an offense. I come for you because you never hair your hair. Number 4, Nico.
Yes, I hit someone's car when I leaving the park lot. When I was leaving a parking lot, luckily no one saw me. I think it's the letter F. You should have left a note for the owner.
Yeah, of course. Or letter C, right?
Then I will write it.
I would have waited for the owner.
Sorry, I just hit your.
And Emily, the last one, number 5.
My aunt gave me a wool sweater. I can't wear wool, so I gave it back. I choose letter G. I would have told her that I prefer something else.
Yes, okay, good. That's a good answer. Or letter H, you should have exchanged it for something else. That's correct. Any question?
Yes, teacher. What means the last word return in the option C?
Return, to give it back. To give it back. Or in this case, sorry, in this case, you should have waited for the owner to return, to arrive.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got it.
Yeah? Okay. Any other question about vocabulary or something? No? Okay, let's go to the pronunciation. Reduction of have. Let's listen and practice. Notice how have is reduced in the sentence. So pay attention.
Page 103. Exercise 9. Pronunciation. Reduction of have. Part A. Listen and practice. Notice how have is reduced in these sentences.
What would you have done?
I would have told the truth.
Okay, repeat that after me. What would have done?
What would you have done? What would you have done?
What would you have done?
What would you have done?
Yes, instead of what would you have done, it's what would you have done? What would you have done? I would have told the truth. Would
I
have.
would have.
I will have told the truth.
Exactly. Instead of I would have, they never say that. I would have told the truth. Okay, so let's practice with exercise 8. So read the questions again. But now, please, what is exercise 8? Yeah, it's here. Yeah. But now remember to short the have pronunciation. Now, can you read number 1 again, Eddie?
Okay. I was in a meeting at work when my girlfriend texted me saying she needed to see me right away. What should I have done? I should have done?
What should I have done? What should I have done?
What should I have done? You should have sent her a message and told her you'd call back later.
Thank you. Amelie, can you read number 2 again, please, using the contraction of have?
Of course. You should send her a message and tell her.
Told
you'd
her.
Call back later. Told her.
That was number 2, right? Number 2.
The cashier. Wait, see. The cashier gave me too much change. What should
gave me?
Gave me. What should I have done? You should
have
said something.
You should have said.
You should have said something. You should have taken.
You shouldn't have. Shouldn't have.
You shouldn't have. You shouldn't have.
Taking the money. Okay.
Taking the money.
Thank you. Number 3, now, Brenda. Number 3, Brenda.
Yes, teacher. I ignored an email from someone I don't ignored an email from someone I don't like. What could have done?
What would you have done? What would you have done?
What could you have done? I could have replied to the person. It just takes reply to the person. It just takes a minute.
Yeah,
Ay, a ver, ¿me repite otra vez la pronunciación, please?
Replied. Yeah, say it 5 times.
Okay, and
replied.
Okay. Creo que
Good.
es esa, ¿verdad?
Yes.
Sí. Okay.
And the last one, Nico, 4.
Yes. Okay. It's number 4. We left all our trash at the campsite. What would you? It's what the construction. We sorry.
What would you done?
You have? You'd have. Sorry.
What would you done?
What would you've done?
Yes.
Okay.
What would you done?
I would have taken it with me and thrown it away later.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I know it's not easy at the beginning. Don't worry. What would you done? What would you you've done? Okay. So that's it. Good, guys. Then let's go to the next exercise, the listening. Let's practice the listening on page 104. Problem solved. Let's listen to an advice podcast. Please complete the chart. We have 2 people, Ronnie and Vika. Here you have to write then the problem and what the person did to solve the problem. You understand what to do?
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Page 104. Exercise 10. Listening. Problem solved. Part A. Listen to an advice podcast. Complete the chart.
Good morning and welcome to Problem Solved, a podcast where we find great solutions to your problems. Life is full of predicaments, but there's always a solution. I'm Cole Williams, and today we have Dr. Jones with us. Thanks for being here, Dr. Jones.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Now, let's get started with our first message. It reads, Dear Problem Solved, I'm a senior in high school and am starting to apply to college. My dad really wants me to study law. He's a lawyer and loves it, but I love languages and want to be a language teacher. We got in a huge fight about it. I got really mad and told him he was selfish. Then I slammed the door. Now we're not talking. What should I do? Thanks, Ronnie. Dr. Jones, what advice would you give to Ronnie?
Well, Ronnie, I understand your frustration. You know what you want to do, and you feel you don't have your father's support. But you shouldn't have told him he was selfish, and you definitely shouldn't have slammed the door. He's thinking about your future and wants what's best for you. You need to apologize and tell him that you appreciate his opinion, but that studying languages is your passion. If I were you, I would have said that from the start. But don't worry, your dad will understand and eventually let you decide your career. Be patient with him.
Patience is always excellent advice. Let's go to the next letter from a listener in New York. Her message reads, Dear Problem Solved, I have a problem at work. I've been at my company for 5 years and have always arrived on time and even worked overtime to get the job done right. My boss often congratulates me on my work, and I was sure I would get a promotion or raise soon. But I never said anything to him about wanting those things. Then last week, my boss welcomed a new employee. The company created a new position, and this new guy is taking it. They gave him his own office, and I know he's making more money. Why didn't they ask me? Now I feel unmotivated and unhappy at work. What should I do? Becca.
Becca, thanks for writing in. While there are plenty of things you should do now, let's first look at what you should have done before this new employee arrived. You said your boss always appreciated your work, but maybe you should have been more honest with him about wanting to grow in the company. I would have talked to him and expressed that a long time ago. It's possible he thought that you weren't interested. But don't worry, there are plenty of things you can do now. Why don't you talk to your new coworker, find out about his education and work history? Look at him as a colleague and someone you can learn from, not as competition. He might suggest a course you could take or have some good advice. And then talk to your boss, but be positive. Let him know how much you like working there and how much you'd like to grow more in the company. He might have some good advice, too, and in the end, he will appreciate your honesty and ambition.
I think honesty and patience are 2 good lessons we can learn from today's podcast. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Dr. Jones, for being here with us. And listeners, remember, life is full of predicaments, but there's always a solution. I'm Cole Williams, and thank you for joining us today. Don't miss the next episode of our podcast, Problem Solved, next week.
Okay, do you have the answers?
Just the first one.
Just the first one?
No. No.
Okay, the others? Eddie, Emily, Oscar?
Yo creo que sí
I
tengo
don't
todas.
understand.
I have
She talks very
Okay, well,
quickly.
let's listen again, but now you have to answer the next one. Let's listen again, and according to Dr. Jones, what should each person have done? What should each person have done? So you have 3 things to do now. You have to write the problem, you have to write what the person did, and you have to write the Dr. Jones suggestion. What should each person have done? Got it? Come on, let's go
Yes.
again.
Yes.
Focus.
Page 104, Exercise 10, Part B. Listen again. According to Dr. Jones, what should each person have done?
Good morning and welcome to Problem Solved, a podcast where we find great solutions to your problems. Life is full of predicaments, but there's always a solution. I'm Cole Williams, and today we have Dr. Jones with us. Thanks for being here, Dr. Jones.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Now, let's get started with our first message. It reads, Dear Problem Solved, I'm a senior in high school and am starting to apply to college. My dad really wants me to study law. He's a lawyer and loves it, but I love languages and want to be a language teacher. We got in a huge fight about it. I got really mad and told him he was selfish. Then I slammed the door. Now we're not talking. What should I do? Thanks, Ronnie. Dr. Jones, what advice would you give to Ronnie?
Well, Ronnie, I understand your frustration. You know what you want to do, and you feel you don't have your father's support. But you shouldn't have told him he was selfish, and you definitely shouldn't have slammed the door. He's thinking about your future and wants what's best for you. You need to apologize and tell him that you appreciate his opinion, but that studying languages is your passion. If I were you, I would have said that from the start. But don't worry, your dad will understand and eventually let you decide your career. Be patient with him.
Patience is always excellent advice. Let's go to the next letter from a listener in New York. Her message reads, Dear Problem Solved, I have a problem at work. I've been at my company for 5 years and have always arrived on time and even worked overtime to get the job done right. My boss often congratulates me on my work, and I was sure I would get a promotion or raise soon. But I never said anything to him about wanting those things. Then last week, my boss welcomed a new employee. The company created a new position, and this new guy is taking it. They gave him his own office, and I know he's making more money. Why didn't they ask me? Now I feel unmotivated and unhappy at work. What should I do? Becca.
Becca, thanks for writing in. While there are plenty of things you should do now, let's first look at what you should have done before this new employee arrived. You said your boss always appreciated your work, but maybe you should have been more honest with him about wanting to grow in the company. I would have talked to him and expressed that a long time ago. It's possible he thought that you weren't interested. But don't worry, there are plenty of things you can do now. Why don't you talk to your new coworker? Find out about his education and work history. Look at him as a colleague and someone you can learn from, not as competition. He might suggest a course you could take or have some good advice. And then talk to your boss, but be positive. Let him know how much you like working there and how much you'd like to grow more in the company. He might have some good advice too, and in the end, he will appreciate your honesty and ambition.
I think honesty and patience are 2 good lessons we can learn from today's podcast. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Dr. Jones, for being here with us. And listeners, remember, life is full of predicaments, but there's always a solution. I'm Cole Williams, and thank you for joining us today. Don't miss the next episode of our podcast, Problem Solved, next week.
Okay, guys. What was what's the problem with Ronnie? What is Ronnie's problem?
He doesn't want to study.
Okay, he doesn't want to study law, but who wants him to study law?
His
He
dad.
wants to learn language.
His dad, exactly. His dad wants
yeah.
him to study law, but he wants to study language. And what does he do?
He slammed the door.
Yes, okay. He got in a fight. So he got in a fight with his dad, and he slammed the door. Exactly. What's the doctor's suggestion?
Oh.
He said that Ronnie shouldn't tell him that he's selfish. And
exactly. Okay.
That he needs to appreciate that his dad is worried about his future.
Exactly. Very good, Emily. Yes. He should have told him he was selfish. He should have appreciated he was worried about him. Very good. Okay, I'm gonna put it here. And then what about Becca? What's her problem? What is Becca's problem? Any idea?
Someone else got his workplace.
Someone else
wanted. Yeah, her dream at workplace.
Okay, more specific, what happened?
A new guy in the work to have just a few days in work took the place that she wanted.
Okay, a new guy got a promotion that she wanted, exactly, or that she deserved it, right? According to her. So, and what did she did? What the person did? What Becca did? No idea?
She will talk with her boss.
That's the suggestion, or that's what she did? She talked to her boss? No, she never, the problem was that she never say that. She never say anything. She never said anything to her boss. She never said anything to her boss about wanting a raise or a promotion. So what is the recommendation for Becca?
She needs to be honest with his boss, with her boss.
Okay. She should have been honest with her boss. So she should have said him that she wanted to be raised. Yeah. About wanting to grow or wanting to grow in the company. Okay, yes. To her boss. She should have been honest to her boss about wanting to grow in the company. Okay, that's the answer. Any question?
All the questions.
All the questions?
I no, it's your teacher. I don't understand all the listening, but it's my this is my problem. English, the
Okay,
listening.
don't worry, with time. With time. Well, let's go to next exercise. Almost to finish. A speaking practice. An awful trip. An awful trip. Do you know what's an awful trip?
Un viaje terrible.
Yes. I'm gonna send you to the breakout rooms to discuss this trip. You are going to imagine that a friend has been on a really awful trip and everything went wrong. What should your friend have done? What shouldn't he or she have done? That's what you have to discuss. So here you have the predicament. Your friend spent hours in the sun and got a sunburn. So you have to make advices or opinions. For example, she shouldn't have spent so many hours in the sun. Okay, in order to not get a sunburn, she shouldn't have spent so many hours in the sun. And the other person can say, she should have used sunscreen. Okay, the two of you, you have to make phrases to you have to make suggestions to your friend's problem, to your friend's situation. Got it? Yes? Remember to use this structure. To give an opinion, I would have, and to give a suggestion, you should have. These are the structures, the grammar structures I want you to use. Do you understand what to do?